Why will Fox News ever air a document like this? Okay, friends, I'm gonna share this piece of video with you in a minute, but I want to firstly say I never expected Fox News, who is a conservative news network who speaks volume about many things, and majority of their audience seems to be Christian and hold on to certain values that Fox News like to espouse. But this one really threw me for a loop because Fox News in this one is promoting the LGBT movement, even the transgender ideology. There you have it right there. California transgender teen hope to be an inspiration to others. Fox News, there you have it, man. So we're gonna listen just a little bit to what's happening here. We're not gonna do a whole reaction video to this one, but I thought it was very strange coming from Fox News, who is somewhat a conservative network, who is somewhat leaning toward biblical values in some ways, who knows very well that majority of their audience are somewhat Christians or leaning toward Christian values, right? But yeah, listen to this. This is a little bit different.
Families. If you saw me walking down the street, you wouldn't think anything different.
14-year-old Ryland Whittington is a typical Southern California teenager. And the Whittingtons, along with mom Hillary, dad Jeff, and sister Brinley, are a typical family. The only difference, though, in Ryland's eyes, is what this family can mean to the tens of thousands of kids under 18 who identify as transgender.
We put our story out there so people could see that like there's another family out there that is going through what we're going through, or there's another family who's proud of who they are.
Before Ryland could even speak, he managed to tell his parents that he is a boy.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but that right there got me. Right? Before Ryland could even speak, but he managed to tell his parents that he was a boy. He couldn't even speak, but he still spoke, right? But yeah, of course not verbally. Of course, I'm pretty sure they're gonna talk about, you know, different ways that Ryland was able to express herself to them about his thing. But again, when you watch this, I'm gonna put this in the document below and in the description below. Check it out. I don't need to make a whole entire video about this. Same arguments that you hear from the LGBT community, the trans activist community, right? They like to tell you that the emotion, right? I was born in the wrong body. Suicidal points. If I don't transgender, I feel like I'm gonna kill myself, and parents tend to give in to that just because they wanted to make sure they avoid from having, you know, the child having to commit suicide and so on, which I certainly understand. As a parent, that's a scary thought, but you know, there's other options out there as well too. But the other aspect of it is Ryland was able to tell her parents that she was a boy, although she was born as a female, but she was a boy even though she was before she was able to speak, because she didn't like certain dresses and stuff like that. So to them, that was the cues that, hey, we should transgender this child. Like, really? Like, I have a granddaughter. Sometime you get her dress, she gets undressed. She takes everything off and run around the house. We will not transgender her because of that. She's just being a little girl. There's nothing to it. But I don't understand these arguments. And plus of all, not just the arguments themselves, but the facts that Fox News is pushing this ideology when they claim to be somewhat conservative. It is somewhat disturbing to me, especially a person who's been listening to a lot of the Republican viewpoints of argument. Okay, I was more Democratic in my perspective. I was raised in Democratic homes, in Democrats' perspective and everything, very leftist in my perspective, but I was never really a determined Democrat. I've never chosen to join their party, but I was kind of somewhat raised in that party, right? Political party. But I never really claimed to be one of them. But So lately, I've been listening to a lot of Republicans discussions. Donald Trump, um, what is his name? Dinesh, and Awaken with JP, even Tom McDonald's, and some of the stuff that they're saying. A lot of what the Republican Party speaks about makes sense to me as a minister. Reading my Bible, I'm looking at what they're saying, and I'm like, yeah, I get what you're saying, man. You make a lot of sense. You arguing the point about transgender. You arguing the point about the economy and how inflation impacts the community. You speak against police brutality, but you still looking to protect the police instead of defunding the police, unlike the leftists are doing. So when I'm hearing all this discussion coming from the Republican Party, it causes me to wonder that certainly the Republican Party, from my personal examination, makes a lot more sense than the Democrats. The Democrats, okay, they makes a lot more sense in their discussion. The things that they're saying has somewhat line up a lot with biblical values that I personally cherish. But with this video aired by Fox News, this has destroyed my credibility in their position. It shows either how did this get aired knowing that majority of your followers or conservative who do not agree with this position, and secondly, is there an agenda that even Fox News or the Republican Party is a part of at the end of the day? The other thing is, it makes you wonder, why will they say one thing and promote something different? Was this part of the same news network, or was this somebody just managed to get something out there, recorded and posted on the Fox News network where the majority did not agree? If that is the case, why aren't they coming out devaluing, debunking this? These are things you need to be wondering about. Or else, I think many of us should certainly raise our voice. If we really love Fox News and we think what they promote is decent, we should be asking the question, what's up with this? What's up with this? If you say Leah Thomas was wrong, you argue against that. You argue against transgender swimmers and athletes, and you argue against many different things. You expose them. You bring people to your shows that promotes Christian values and that speaks about the nuclear family, but then you turn around and make a video about transgender families, and you promote it in a positive light, supporting the concept on your news network. That destroys your credibility, and everything else you ever promote makes you look bad. And I'm not here to condemn the entire network, because I believe some people there are very honest and they're standing for what they believe. But this video here doesn't speak well for you. When you look at Jesus's life, right? You look at Jesus's life, and you notice there were two classes of religious bodies that were the most prominent ones. Of course, we had the Pharisees and the Sadducees, right? Which one did Jesus join, right? We had the Pharisees, they were really conservative, and we had the Pharisees, they were like the liberals, right? They were the easy goers. They didn't take everything in the Bible seriously. So these two classes were there in the days of Jesus. And my question is, which of these two religious groups that Jesus joined? He joined neither of them. Neither of them. So now you know where I stand.